Now X-T5, yeah, you read it from the title and then you probably read about it on the web, but yeah, this is X-T5 on my hand. But before that, the presentation I just attended really clearly answered one of my biggest questions, because I was a bit confused between what's XE, XT, XH. To me, at least to me, I got a little bit confused. I'm not sure about you. Maybe you don't. Maybe I'm just being stupid. But now it's really clear. We have X100 compact camera, premium compact camera, really cool. I love it since the first X100. X Pro and XE brings final style. XH, now we are really clear. XH and XS are hybrid camera. And now XT is a classic SLR. That's why they say this is more still focused, no, still first approach. That's the word. So body is really similar to X-T4, but then it is smaller. I mean, this is interesting because since X-T1, X-T2, X-T3, the camera getting bigger and bigger, and now actually smaller. The width and the height is actually almost back to X-T1 size, which is a really good thing. I love that. It's just much thicker than X-T1. It's the same, almost same width depth to X-T4 because of the image stabilization, the in-body stabilization. It got the same sensor and processor as the X2, which means it got 40 megapixel. Come on. But then it trade-off with something. I mean, a camera is always a trade-off with something. And this got 15 FPS mechanical shutter, which really easily to set it here, which I love. Electronic shutter, which is just 20 FPS with crop. This is slower than before, slower than X-T4 because X-T4 can do up to 30 FPS with crop. This is 20 FPS with crop. And then the buffer is a little bit smaller as well. Only 19 shot RAW, before that 35 shots RAW. What you get is a longer battery life. It actually got 20% more battery life compared to X-T4. But that comes back to what I mentioned, this is meant for kind of more leisure, or enthusiasts. Because if I'm going to want to just shoot picture, I may pick this rather than X2. X2 is just kind of, it's a work camera, but this is for leisure. This is much better looking, and then I like the dials, of course. I always said I love this kind of dial because you don't have to pick PASMO. If you want to set I need a faster shutter speed, just do it. Come back to auto and then want to set, I want bokeh, just do it from here. Or set these two to auto and you got ISO priority. But then of course, okay, for work, PSMO might be more practical. But now with Fujifilm, you got to choose. You got two different styles to choose. I mentioned in-body stabilization, this is 7-stop, exactly the same as X2. Now more on the still first approach, this is just a tilted screen. It don't flip to the front. So this is actually better for if you shoot still most of the time, or you only shoot still. With a flip screen, you have to flip it and then you have to turn it. But not this kind of screen, you just tilt it. One single action. Vertical, portrait, just like that. One thing funny, it doesn't have vertical grip. You do have kind of a grip that make this grip bigger, and then there's a plate. Yeah, but that's not. There's no electronic connection here because people choose this for more for leisure enthusiasts. If you want really workhorse, you got the XH to choose from. But for shooting video, I love this style. Just switch it up from here, really easy. And same as XH2, electronic shutter, I have to say this. The shutter speed go up to this ridiculous amount. Now for video, it still shoots 6.2K 30 FPS, which is pretty good. It has a 1.23 times crop, but then you got 4K HQ, which is oversample, still with a crop, but then you have 4K normal, no crop. One thing interesting is that it supports webcam mode output, support up to 4K 60 as well, so you can do like 4K 60 zoom if they support it. There's also this new 30mm f2.8 macro lens, and they have set up some plants here, but there's also 2 insects. At first I saw this setup, what? It's like in a glass box. Oh, turns out you probably can't see that. Actually, this kind of insects that try to look like a leaf, but this is kind of just a really fat leaf. I think that's more impressive for insects trying to look like, what's it called, stick bug or something. I saw this once in Hong Kong, I think. Oh, of course, I can use this tilted up screen. Really useful. So you don't have to get down, and if you fear of bug, you don't have to get close. I think X-T5 showed that Fujifilm finally has a clear vision for their camera lineup. X-T series used to be the flagship camera, and it has to do well on everything, yet awkwardly having some traditional dials. Even the XX1 still used shutter and ISO dial instead of PASM mode. Then we saw GFX switch link to PASM controls, obviously XS series, and eventually XH2S as well. Now we see why. If Fujifilm want the X-T5 to be the flagship, they have to make it huge. It doesn't make sense for X-T camera. But instead, they put the burden being flagship to the XH2. The X-T5 can finally just be a simple, smaller, and really nice, really good looking, and still capable camera.